Every day in the USA, people find themselves in court.
Well, the next call, State of Kansas versus Marissa Beatriz Valdez, case number 2024 CR 156. Ms. Valdez appears from the Greenwood County Jail Zoom location. Jill Gillette on behalf of the state. Ms. Valdez, I have before me a complaint alleging in count 1 unlawful possession of methamphetamine, a level 5 drug felony. Count 2 unlawful possession of drug paraphernalia, class B misdemeanor. Count 3 unlawful possession of marijuana, a class B misdemeanor. Speeding, an infraction, 81 and a 65. And a registration offense, an unclassified misdemeanor in count 5. A felony is involved. You will not be asked to plead at this time. Rather, a preliminary hearing scheduling will be made before Judge Phyllis Webster. What date is proposed here?
October 25th at 1:30.
October 25, 1:30 is established as the next court date for Ms. Valdez. She must be personally present at that time and personally involved in that proceeding.
Okay.
October 25 at 1:30. All right, Ms. Valdez, can you afford to hire your own lawyer?
I'm not entirely sure, honestly.
Were you working before you were arrested?
Yes.
Doing what?
Amazon DSP and Target.
Okay, how much money were you making at those jobs?
21.25 an hour at Amazon and 16.25 at Target.
Okay, so you were working full-time or more than full-time?
Full-time for Amazon, part-time at Target.
Okay. Do you support others or is it just you?
I have a dog I take care of.
Okay, well, that's touching. I was really talking about true.
No, just
adult-
myself.
Okay. All right. And you're not sure you can afford a lawyer even though you're making that kind of income?
Yeah, I'm not entirely sure. I don't know how those expenses work.
I want you represented here on this felony charge, Ms. Valdez. I'm going to make a finding at this point that you're at least partially indigent and an attorney will be appointed. You can replace the appointed lawyer with one that you choose at any time, which I actually encourage you to do.
You encourage me to find my own lawyer?
Yes.
Okay.
You feel that that's in your best interest to do so? I encourage you to do so.
Okay.
You apparently have the possible resources to hire a lawyer.
Okay.
Recommendation regarding a bond here from Ms. Valdez, Ms. Gillette.
Um,
I trust there was probably one previously set.
I don't know what on schedule that at currently.
17,500.
I'm comfortable with 5,000 cash or professional surety, Judge.
Where do you live, Ms. Valdez?
California?
California.
Yeah.
Okay, so what was your business here in Kansas?
I was helping a friend move out here to Independence, Kansas.
You have no local ties then?
Other than my friend, no. You mean here, right?
Right.
Yeah, just my friend.
I'm worried we won't get you back when we need you, Ms. Valdez.
Sorry, repeat that?
I'm sorry, we will not get you back in Kansas when we need you here. You have no local ties and you live in California.
But I do have a place that I can stay if I stay here.
Are you going to lose your jobs if you do that?
Possibly.
Well, I'm uncomfortable with you going back to California.
I understand.
I'm going to set bond at $5,000 cash or professional surety required, but require Ms. Valdez to remain within the state of Kansas until her case is resolved, at least.
I understand.
So I'm glad you have a place to go. The 5,000 cash or professional surety required, restriction that she remain in the state of Kansas at all times.
Okay.
Attorney's identity will be determined later. Defendant will be informed. So do you have an address that you can give us as to where you're going to be staying?
I can find out.
Well, find out. You'll need to give that to the jail if and when you bond out. System
Okay.
needs to have a good address on you so that you can be contacted by your attorney.
Okay.
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 All right. Anything else we need to address or readdress regarding Marissa Valdez, Ms. Gillette?
Judge, could you repeat the number of the bond, the amount?
5,000.
And must
state restriction.
Okay.
Okay, if there's nothing further, the Marissa Valdez matter will be in recess. We'll move on to another matter. The state of Kansas versus Taran Janet Brown, 24 CR 82, Amber Norris appearing for the state, Joseph Favre as defense counsel, and defendant Brown appearing from the jail Zoom location. What is the announcement made here?
Judge, Ms. Brown at this time has been advised for her rights to hearing. She'd waive her right to preliminary hearing. She's going to enter a plea of guilty to count 1, possession of cocaine, and we can proceed from there. State will dismiss remaining counts.
Is that correct, Ms. Norris?
Yes, Your Honor, that is accurate.
Very well. Ms. Brown, importantly, you've been present when your attorneys made an announcement. First of all, that you intend to waive your right to a preliminary hearing, which is a probable cause determination. Are you waiving that right?
Yes.
And is it your intention to enter a plea of guilty and accept conviction for possession of cocaine as charged in count 1?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, I've got a number of questions I need to ask you regarding the taking of such a plea. If
Okay.
there's something you don't understand, I'll give you the opportunity to confer privately with your lawyer. Let the court know if you need that time to get further advice. State your name for the record, please.
Taran Brown,
And how old are you at this point?
23,
What's the highest level of education that you've attained?
12th.
Do you believe you're going to have difficulty understanding any of the legal concepts we're going to be discussing here in court?
Yes, Your Honor.
You think you will have difficulty understanding them?
A little of them, yes.
Okay, well, again, no one's trying to trick you or trip you up. I want you to understand and know what's going on. So if you don't understand something, let me know, okay?
Okay.
Have you ever been adjudged to be mentally ill?
No,
Okay. Are you currently under the influence of alcohol or any drug?
no,
Are you supposed to be taking any type of prescription medication that you're not getting?
no,
Okay. So you believe your mind is clear and that you do have a full understanding of what's going on here in court?
yes,
You understand the nature of the charge in this case, possession of cocaine?
yes,
All right. You understand that when you enter a plea of guilty, you are admitting that act that's been charged by the state?
yes,
You also understand that when you enter a plea of guilty, you give up any legal defenses that you might have had to that possession of cocaine charge.
yes,
Are you aware that in a trial, the state must present evidence against you in open court, that any witnesses must testify in open court in your presence, that you have the right to cross-examine witnesses with the assistance of your lawyer, Mr. Favre, and that you could present evidence at a trial and and subpoena your own witnesses to court?
yes,
You also understand that at such a trial, you personally would have a privilege against self-incrimination, which means that you could testify in your case under oath if you wanted to, but no one could force you or compel you to testify against yourself if you didn't want to. Do you understand that?
yes, I do.
You understand that when you enter a plea of guilty, you give up these valuable trial rights that the court has described?
Yes.
Are you also aware that you have a right to a trial by jury, and that before you could be found guilty, that jury would have to be satisfied as to your guilt beyond a reasonable doubt?
Yes.
You understand that when you enter a plea of guilty, you give up your right to a trial by jury and the requirement that you be found guilty beyond a reasonable doubt.
Yes.
You understand that you have a right to appeal a guilty verdict if you have a trial.
Yes.
You further understand that you may appeal your sentence after entering a plea of guilty, but generally, you may not appeal your judgment of conviction after you enter such a plea.
Yes.
Are you aware of the possible penalties that could be imposed as a result of this guilty plea that you're attempting to make?
Yes, I am.
Let's go over those. Possession of cocaine, as charged in this case, is a level 5 drug felony. Under the Kansas Sentencing Guidelines Act grid, in the most favorable criminal history category of I, you could receive as little as a 10-month prison sentence. In the most severe criminal history category of A, you could receive up to a 42-month sentence. So the sentencing range is 10 to 42 months in prison, depending on your criminal history. As you sit today, Ms. Brown, we do not know with certainty what your criminal history is. You, better than anyone else here, really ought to know what your own criminal record looks like. But that would be researched by the Court Services Department. And based on the outcome of that research, as of the date of sentencing, that will determine where you fall, excuse me, along the level 5 line, and then you'll be sentenced accordingly. You understand that?
Yes.
You also understand that if you have a person felony on your record already, Ms. Brown, at time of sentencing, you are in a presumptive prison category.
I did not know that, but I do now.
Okay, does that change your mind about going forward?
No.
Okay. You also understand that you are subject to up to a $100,000 fine for this offense?
Yes.
In addition to any fine, are you aware that you could be assessed and be required to pay court costs, certain fees, including reimbursement of legal fees and expenses, and restitution to victims, if any are owed, as part of your sentencing orders?
Yes, I am.
Mandy, could you bring me a bottle of water, please? You also realize that as a direct consequence of this plea, you will be sentenced to an extended period of reporting probation, reporting parole, or post-release supervision as deemed appropriate at time of sentencing.
Yes, I do.
You also understand that both probation and post-release supervision periods start at 12 months in duration, but can run up to 60 months under some circumstances.
Yes.
Okay. You also understand that if there are any special sentencing rules under the law that apply to you, it could affect your eligibility for probation or otherwise affect your sentence.
Yeah, I do.
Now, did you have an ample opportunity to fully discuss your legal case and all of these circumstances with your attorney, Mr. Favre, before proceeding here today?
Yes, I did.
Are you satisfied with the services and advice given to you by him?
Yes.
All right, now the guilty plea that you're attempting to make hasn't been based upon any threats or promises as to what this court will do in regards to your sentence or any other type of threat or promise?
Yes.
Okay, now we're not talking about plea agreements. I'm talking about, did anybody threaten you to do this?
Oh, no.
Is there any other promise other than the plea agreement that's been made to you?
No.
Okay. I want to make sure you understand that for any plea deals between your counsel and the county attorney's office regarding sentencing recommendations, that this court is not bound by any agreements made. Court may and shall consider them as recommendations, but is not bound by them. You understand that?
Yes, I am.
So let me ask you formally, how do you plead to this charge of possession of cocaine?
I plead guilty.
Okay. All right, Ms. Brown, what did you do that would constitute that crime? Tell me what happened.
I had possession of it while I got traffic stopped.
Possession of what?
Cocaine
Okay, where was it?
in my bra.
Okay, and you knew it was there?
Yes,
I
I
would
did.
hope so. I would hope you would. And you
Yes,
knew it was cocaine, right?
yes.
You don't have the legal right to be possessing that cocaine, do you?
No, I do not.
Okay. According to the state's charging document, this took place around February 21 of 2024. Is that when it happened?
Yes.
And where did it happen at? Where did
In
you get pulled over?
Butler County, I'm pretty sure.
Okay, well, tell me where.
On the freeway.
Freeway, are you talking about the turnpike?
I think it was, yes. It was on one of the freeways.
But you're not contesting the state's allegation that it was somewhere in Butler County, right?
No,
Okay, so do you now freely, knowingly, and voluntarily enter a plea of guilty and accept conviction for count 1, possession of cocaine?
yes, I do.
Okay. Ms. Norris, do you know of any legal reason why the court should not accept this defendant's plea?
No, Your Honor.
Mr. Favre, are you aware of any such legal reason?
I'm not, Your Honor, no.
Ms. Brown, are you aware of any legal reason or any other good reason why the court shouldn't accept your plea here today?
No,
Court will accept the guilty plea made by Defendant Brown and finds that that plea is made voluntarily. She has an understanding of the nature of her charge and the consequences of her plea, and a factual basis for the plea does exist. Court adjudges her therefore convicted in count 1 of possession of cocaine, a level 5 drug felony. Other charges are dismissed pursuant to plea agreement. Court orders a pre-sentence report be completed to determine Ms. Brown's criminal history, and the court will set an appropriate date for sentencing. I wish I could just go ahead with it now, Ms. Brown, but I can't. There has to be a pre-sentence investigation and report compiled. It takes about 8 weeks.
okay.
So I'm going to set your sentencing date for early November.
Okay, Your Honor.
Friday morning, November 8th, Mr. Favre. I can set it late morning at 11 o'clock.
Fridays are always dicey, but 11 o'clock would probably work. Let's do 11. Yeah.
Okay. Taran Brown's sentencing is set for 11 o'clock a.m. on Friday, November the 8th. Ms. Brown must obviously fully participate in that sentencing. Friday, November 8th, 11 o'clock. Ms. Brown, as part of this pre-sentence process and perhaps to determine Senate Bill 123, which is a treatment program, eligibility, you may be asked to do one or more assessments, a risk needs assessment and a substance abuse assessment. You are ordered to comply with those. It's in your best interest to do so, so sentencing does not get held up. I'll
Yes,
hold
Your
you
Honor.
responsible if it doesn't.
Okay,
So comply with those assessments. Friday, November 8th, 11 o'clock is the sentencing in the case. What's Ms. Brown's bond status right now?
So, Judge, Miss Brown is on a no bond hold. She had previously failed to appear at her first PHC. Actually, she appeared, had some technical difficulties with her Zoom, and then was not able to get on. So she was there anyway, and then it was not able to go through. The court eventually issued a warrant for her. I have been in contact with her family, her fiance, as well as her mother, who is taking care of her children. She is going to be living in a sober living house. We're asking the court to set a bond for her at this time of a much lower amount, somewhere in the neighborhood her family can make. We're hoping for 2,500 cash or surety, or even lower than that. But the Miss Brown's, this is her first ever felony. She is going to be either H or I box. She's been in custody for over 30 days at this point, I believe. So, like I said, she has a lot of resources, and frankly, the strain on her being in custody is hard on her family. So we'd ask the court to consider lowering her bond at this time.
State's position on the request.
Your Honor, I do expect her to be presumptive probation. And Your Honor, her bond previously was 4,000 cash or surety. I do not have an objection to the court setting a bond. I do think it should be a cash or surety based on the defendant's failure to appear. But I do not have an issue with the lesser amount of 4,000 or possibly even less. Like I said, she does appear to be presumptive probation.
Thank you, Ms. Norris. Ms. Brown, I hate failures to appear. It brings progress on cases to a halt. Your case was filed, I think, back in February. We're still messing around with it in September without any real complications or delays in your cases that wasn't caused directly by you not showing up.
Agreed.
Okay, well, at least I'm glad that you admit you're the problem. Whether you should be given another chance on bond or not, that's really problematic. Ms. Brown, you've already demonstrated you don't necessarily take court-ordered obligations to appear seriously. I don't know how Mr. Favre can know that you're going to be in a sober living house. You have to be admitted to such programs, and with you being in jail the last couple of months, it could be that you might be able to get in. I'm a little bit unclear that you would for sure be able to get in, but that's not going to make a difference to this court, Ms. Brown, because I'm inclined to give you another chance. Your attitude's been very good today, Ms. Brown. I think you get it finally. I hope you do.
I do.
But I'll tell you what, here's the deal. I'm really worried that when you get out, you're going to forget all about the pre-sentence report. You're not going to do your assessments. You're not going to contact court services. You're not going to do what you're supposed to do. And then we're going to have a big mess on our hands again.
I'm on the right path. I've got this 2 months really did me justice. Like, it really got me sober. It got me to in my right mind state of mind. And
Yeah, for right now. See, and that's what worries me.
I'm good. I got this. I promise on everything. I will do everything I possibly needed to do.
I want the same Taran Brown to show up at sentencing that I'm seeing today.
Will do.
I've been promised that many times and very few
Besides the
people
crying.
All right, I'm going to set bond as requested by the defense attorney, 2,500 cash or surety. I hope you can make it, Taran, but just
Thank
make
you.
sure that you show up for court when you're supposed to and do those assessments. You're obligated to call court services as soon as you make bond and get set up with them for these assessments. Okay?
Will do.
All right.
Thank you.
All right. Just don't let yourself down, Ms. Brown.
I will not. I got 2 babies looking forward to me. So
2,500 cash or professional surety is established as a new bond in the case.
thank you.
If there's nothing further, the Taran Brown matter will be in recess at this time. We'll move on to another matter.
What's your next court date? That's the time. And I need you to here call court services. Let's get started.